And we are live. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Sunday Night Chillstream Stationary Edition. Although we didn't initially plan on it being a stationary broadcast. Waited around all day. They finally said, "Oh, get a piece going to Virginia." So I drive up to Teterboro to the warehouse, and I'm a block away. And they called me up and say, "How soon till you get there?" I said, "Oh, I'm a block away." They said, "Oh, that's canceled." So, and that was like 7 o'clock or something like that. So they gave me an attempt, which is a fraction of the job, tiny fraction of the job is. And I said, all right, fuck it, I'll come back and I'll just do a stationary chill stream, which is all right. I mean, yesterday I didn't do too much. Today I'm really not in the mood to fucking do anything. Really wasn't in the mood to drive until 4 in the morning. So I'm not entirely unhappy about the fact that that the job got canceled. I'm not crying. Things could be far, far worse. Things could be way worse, but yeah, I wasn't really to do it. So I'm happy. I'm happy that it did not go quite the way that I thought it was going to go. Did not go. Anyway, with that, listen, we got to do some stuff. We got to talk about some stuff. Always now there's just so much stuff to talk about. It's going to be nonstop. Not going to lie, this past week has been quite a week for me at any rate, because I'm just laughing my ass off. I'm like, did I fucking nail it? Or like how completely and totally did I fucking nail this? And I was thinking about this, meditating on that the last couple of days. And if you really think it through, what we're getting is a rerun of the first Trump presidency, but we're going to get it on steroids. And all I'm really doing is just recognizing the pattern. That's all. I'm just looking back and going, "Hey, what happened the first time? What happened the first time this chucklehead was installed, and then what's going to happen this time?" So, when I say, "Oh, the nonstop Hitler stuff," it's just super obvious. Aside from all the phony, whatever, Nazis marching through Columbus and blah 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 blah. You have to remember that way back in the days, 8 years ago, what you're seeing now, what kicked off at the inaugural. It's just a fucking rerun. It's just a total rerun, and they've just committed to it. This is a sequel. Hollywood loves sequels. This is what they got. This is all sequels on top of sequels. And then so let's take a look at what they did last time, right? What they did last time was our old friend Richard Spencer. If you remember, this is from The Atlantic 8 years ago. This video got 3.4 million views, where Richard Spencer celebrated the first Trump presidency by doing a Hitler salute, and then in a room full of people in Washington, D.C. And I wanted to download the whole video, but I wouldn't download it for whatever reason, so I just screenshot. And so here's a group of all white people in suits, a couple of them doing the naughty salute, right? I think that might be Spencer's hand from the crowd. And the thing about this, one of the things about this photo, that you notice that people's faces have been blurred out, which is very strange, right? It's so weird because where's the other one? Here's another one. As soon as Spencer says, "Hail victory, hail our people," all these people just go literally running through this meeting room or ballroom or whatever the fuck it is in Washington, D.C., just shooting their hands up. And, nobody ever doxed those people. Nobody ever found out who they were, even though this video, like I said, it's got 3.4 million views. None of these people ever got doxed. and their faces are blurred out, which is it's kind of interesting, don't you think? That the Atlantic would do that, so they're all like, I can't wait, I can't wait, I can't wait, oh, and then of course there's Elon doing the worst fucking impression. That guy is like the worst actor. He's just terribly, terribly, horribly bad. Terribly, horribly bad. But let's take a look at him. Let's take a look at him. He's trying to stomp around and look. He's doing the stompy thing, which I think which I think Hitler did in a couple of speeches. So he's doing like this fist smashing downward, kind of thing. Of course, he's trying to make it not appear obvious, but it's ridiculously obvious. But just for the sake of, we got to document this stuff. Let's show the Elon version.
Yes! Yeah! And we're gonna take Doge to Mars. How awesome! Yeah!
So, we're going to take Doge to Mars. Listen, we're not going to Mars. This is, we didn't even go to the moon. We're not going to Mars. AI is not going to take your shitty job. You're still going to be stuck with your shitty fucking job, right? If AI and robots were really going to fix shit, they would close the fucking border, right? They would close the border. They wouldn't need any more low-wage workers. They wouldn't need any more Mexicans or anyone else, right? He would just say, don't worry, the robots will be here in 3 years. We'll just seal the border and then everything will be fine. If the robots were really coming, but the robots aren't coming. It's as fake. It's as fake as the moon landing. It's as fake as going to fucking Mars. It's as fake as all this stuff. And we live in a fucking super fake fucking world. But that was, that's the video that's got everybody spun out. And what is it? But it's the Richard Spencer thing on steroids, right? It's all of that plus more, more special effects, more everything, right? It's a sequel. It's a sequel in the same way that I think pre-election, right? Or maybe it was. I can't remember when this was. April 21st. Yeah, so this was before the election, 2016, where Bruce Jenner, who killed someone in a car crash. Don't forget, he I think it was DWI, and he killed someone in a car crash, and then he had sex change surgery and became a woman, got Woman of the Year, and the can a 53-year-old man use a bathroom suited for 8-year-old girls? And so Donald Trump said, yeah, in my world, absolutely, you can use any 50-year-old man who identifies as an 8-year-old girl can use any bathroom anywhere, right? Especially in my super duper fucking buildings and hotels. Remember that? So Donald Trump 100% on board with the degeneracy agenda, and that was the 2016 version. Here's the 2025 version.
We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again.
So there's Trump dancing with the icons of homosexuality, icons of the homosexual lifestyle, the village people. So it's the same thing over and over and over. So it's not. I'm not like a super genius, although I'm giving myself some credit for seeing this coming a mile away. But it's just going to be everything more. So Charlottesville, I thought about this. I don't know exactly that it's going to go this way, but Charlottesville, which was Richard Spencer led, right, was kind of like Act One. What were they looking to do? They were looking to cause, a bloodbath and shut down the First Amendment and the Second Amendment. Really did not work out for them at all. A total dud on their part. But the feds regrouped and they came back with January 6th, and they still somehow forgot, the insurrectionists forgot their guns when they overthrew the government. But at least they got people to do a lot of stuff on video, or appear to do a lot of stuff that was, scary to people. They just tell you what it is. Like they tell you the moon landing's the moon landing, and nobody questions their videos. They tell you that January 6th, a bunch of dorks in fucking costumes walking through a government building was a armed insurrection or some shit. So they set the narrative. They show you the video. You don't question it. This is the way it's worked for them for a really long time. That's going to continue to work. People have selective attention, and that's it. And so, I was thinking about it. I was like, is it going to be a 3-act play? Is it going to be Charlottesville was Act 1, January 6th was Act 2, and then what's Act 3 going to be? I think certainly there's going to be an Act 3, right? They've been doubling down on this and working this with the Nazis in Columbus, and then this march and that march and the Patriot Front and all this bullshit nonstop through the Biden administration, because they're doing what their masters tell them to do. And this is the narrative they've got to spin. And like I said, if you are going to burn the Constitution, you have to have half the country has to be terrorists. You have to have half the country terrified of the other half of the country. So you need to create, a large enough group of terroristic Nazis that you can go to the American people and say, listen, we need to suspend the Constitution or burn the Constitution in order to save America. And people will buy it. Enough people will buy it, especially if you have a nice Waco, Texas, or Ruby Ridge kind of, more like Waco, Texas, bloodbath. Where this wild group of bad people is doing an awful thing, and the heroic feds come in at the last minute, but it turns into a bloodbath. And it will be, shocking. And then, listen, we have to have a hate speech amendment. We have to have, we just have to outlaw AR-15s. It's for the children. It's for the future of America. And, will they get away with it? I don't know. The Vegas thing didn't work out the way they initially wanted, but they'll come up with Vegas 2 or something similar. Exactly how they're going to pull it off, I don't know. But that's what they're going to do. In the meantime, important stuff is actually happening. In the meantime, important stuff is happening, and the important stuff is Trump. Well, Trump's being Trump, right? And some people definitely listen. People saw this coming. This guy, what's this? Francis at Bull Bitcoin. You keep asking for a strategic Bitcoin reserve, but what you're more likely to get is a strategic, diversified portfolio of blue chip shitcoins. This guy tweeted this on January 3rd of this year. So, it was Trump didn't do the strategic Bitcoin reserve. And everyone noticed, at least we noticed. Another article from like Bitcoin Magazine. Dear President Trump, Bitcoin reserve, not shitcoin reserve. And the reason why that matters is because there's no political system, there is no cultural, there's no culture that can overcome the desire to gain wealth. The sellout is the most vicious, the most vicious, the most bitter of accusations. You're a sellout. You sold us out, right? For the true believers, there's like no greater fucking crime. But the reality is, even for this twisted fucking nonsense, you got to remember, people Nobody wants to die starving and homeless in a cardboard box. They just don't, you know. And although that may be more a fate for more people than even I thought it was going to be. However, for people who are not plugged into watching Fox or CNN, and the communists who don't understand they were born into communism, that America is a communist country, has a central bank, like all the other countries with a central bank, and that fascism doesn't exist, right? I titled tonight's stream, Real Fascism Hasn't Been Tried Yet. Well, boys, you know, you've been crying, you've been praying, right? You've been praying. How much have you been praying?
And we are simply going to wait for Hitler to return and save us. Adolf Hitler, if you can hear me, please save us. If you can hear me, Adolf Hitler, if you can hear me, save us. Adolf Hitler, if you can hear me, please save us. Adolf Hitler, if you can hear me, please save us.
Right? How prophetic. How prophetic. So, yeah, real fascism hasn't been tried yet because Hitler wasn't a fascist, and Mussolini, those spaghetti slurpers, they weren't really serious. They're lazy Mediterranean people. And that dude in Spain, he was like a ham sandwich or something. I mean, he wasn't even. He wasn't a real fascist. Real fascism will be now. Now will happen. And remember, kids, you can't spell Nazi without AI. Okay, keep that in mind. You can't spell Nazi without AI. So it isn't hard when you're looking at this to know where they're going to go with this, right? And it always has to do with burning the Constitution, shredding the Constitution. That's just the way it's going to be. That is just the way it's going to be. But we will. We're largely going to avoid that fate. The one thing Bitcoin related, I didn't realize this, and it's another. It was another one of those things where it popped up. It was in the whole flurry of news. There was a guy named Ross Ulbricht who started a website called Silk Road, which used Bitcoin to do all sorts of illicit transactions, drug deals, contract murder, all kinds of stuff, human trafficking. And the feds busted him back in the day, and they put him in prison, and they took all his Bitcoin. And, well, Donald Trump pardoned this guy in the midst of all this other stuff. Donald Trump gave this guy a pardon, and I was like, that's weird, because there was always, like, in the background of Bitcoin Twitter and stuff, like, free Ross, free Ross, free Ross. You got to free this guy. And I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Who gives a shit? But I started thinking about it, and I was like, well, who does Donald Trump pardon? Like, who does he pardon? He pardons Jews and he pardons blacks. And I was like, fuck, is this guy Ross Ulbricht? Is he a Jew? And I was trying to find that out. And I couldn't find any super definitive evidence, but I did find this. This is from February 4th, 2015. Silk Road operator convicted on U.S. drug charges. So Ross Ulbricht did 11 years. They took all his Bitcoin, although there's some indication he may be getting it back. Somebody's giving it back to him, or there's a lump of it that may go back to him. I don't fucking know. This guy says, oh, I'm going to take some time to be with my family, then I'm going to come back. So is he going to come back as a shit corner? What role is going to play? I don't know. But yeah, the fact that they let this guy go, or Trump pardoned him, and one of the coverages of the original arrest was the Jewish Journal. You got to assume that Ross Ulbricht is a member of the tribe. I think that's a safe assumption, though I don't have any other proof other than what I just showed you. But that wasn't that was the kind of the not noticeable part. This was the more noticeable part that has everybody spun up in that Trump actually. These are the only white people that Trump ever gave pardons to, but it's part of the America's filled with terroristic Nazis narrative, right? Trump commutes sentences of Proud Boys and Oath Keepers, leaders, as he pardons over 1,000 January 6th U.S. Capitol rioters. He said, and even in this story, they say rioters, not insurrectionists. People have noticed that of all the people put in prison over January 6th, none of them were charged with insurrection as a legal charge, which is a legal charge in the Constitution. So, but okay, so it's Trump 2.0 is going to be everything the first one was on steroids, and in the meantime, you need to do what our friends in El Salvador are doing. Like you gotta sidestep all this. You gotta ignore this. You know what I mean? El Salvador adds another 11 Bitcoin to its reserves, despite the International Monetary Fund telling it to back off Bitcoin. Basically, ignore what they tell you to do and do what you know to be correct. The other thing, I mentioned that TikTok was CIA spyware. It's not Chinese spyware. It's not Chinese at all. Their servers were hosted by Oracle. TikTok is 100% a deep state platform. And there was news about TikTok that the Trump signs executive order to shield TikTok from U.S. ban, setting up complex legal road ahead. Facebook started an account of TikTok, so basically Mark Zuckerberg is going to take over TikTok. So he's going to have Instagram and TikTok. No matter what you're doing, you're making money for Mark Zuckerberg and the deep state. And then TikTok is in the process of restoring service after going dark in the US. A lot of people have said that all they really did was migrate all their data from their current servers to the meta servers. That's all they did. What they basically did was what's called a server migration. And that's all they did. And it's all a fucking joke because of the other inaugural coverage. It says the TikTok CEO, Shu Zi Chu, or Suzy Q, right? Shu Zi Chu, and even spelled Chu, Chew. I don't know that Chu is a Chinese name. I think it's a Vietnamese name, but even so, it's not Chew, right? Somebody who's a tech CEO and close to the Trump administration, you wouldn't misspell the name like that on purpose. Unless, of course, it's all a fucking joke. It's like Waynell Sexton. It's like Waynell Sexton keeping George Floyd's second grade essay for 30 fucking years. This is the world we live in. It's the world we live in, and the world you're gonna have to navigate around people who are all deep into this shit, plus all that stupid MLK. Who killed MLK? The Jews. Who killed JFK? The Jews. Who killed RFK? The Jews. There you go. Done, done, done. But you'll never be able to tell people that because they're lost in the sauce. Secret. Selective attention. They're never gonna fucking get it. They're just never gonna get it. They're always gonna be looking at how many the people in the black t-shirts did this, how many times they did that, and they're not gonna notice, the big gorilla in the middle of the basketball game. Just not. So in the meantime, there are a lot of indications of what the future is gonna look like. I keep talking about the nuclear stuff, I keep talking about the nuclear stuff, and the reason why I do is because shit's gonna be fucking wild. This is something there's going to be 18-wheelers. There are going to be 18-wheel trucks that have nuclear generators on the back. And they're going to be used in Northern Virginia because, I mentioned in the past that Northern Virginia has 7 out of 10 data centers in the United States. And that's the Pentagon, the CIA, all that shit, the State Department, all of their servers, all of the alphabet agencies, all of the big fucking Amazon Web Services, all of that shit in and around Northern Virginia, and that's where you got to get the juice. That's where you got to get the energy. But that area is already built up, and you can't build a nuclear power plant. You're not going to take all those people's houses, eminent domain, take their houses and fucking put a nuclear power plant there. You have to come up with a different way to generate the same amount of juice to shoot into those computers. And what they've done is they're going to make a modular nuclear reactor on the back of like an 18-wheel truck, and they're going to transport it to the data center. They're just going to drive up there, plug that sucker in, and squirt all the juice needed for the AI. Fun fact that Nano Nuclear Energy, that's a company, by the way. Full disclosure. I not only do I own stock, I bought a January 2027 call option stock, doing very good. So not financial advice. You do what you want to do, but I did that before that story came out. That stock has been pumping. If you pay attention to the right things, you draw the right conclusions, you can avoid dying, starving, and homeless in a cardboard box. Speaking of cardboard boxes, I got two. I haven't done the real estate stuff in a while because it's. I thought I had made my point, but these two, I got two videos. One is short and one is longer. But I sometimes think, well, I'm just being a cheeky bastard and I'm being hyperbolic by saying, oh, you're going to die starving and homeless in a cardboard box. But I feel like I'm stumbling backwards into shit that actually fucking, I say it and a week later or 2-3 weeks later, I find out it's really not a joke. And guess what? It's not a joke.
You'll see all these $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 houses. Hell, here's one. There's one. All right. I want to show you what these son bitches are made out of. You see that? Look at this shit. Hold on. It gets better. Okay. Now, behind all those bricks, right there, there's this. Ain't shit to it. Y'all want y'all's goddamn homes built out of fucking cardboard? 200 G's. 200 G's.
So what our redneck reporter is pointing out that what looks like a brick home is one layer of bricks covering cardboard against a wooden frame. So, and he's saying between $200,000 and $400,000 is what they're charging for those homes. So you are going to die in a cardboard box, but not in the Soviet era. That would be outside the gates of the Gulag. In the modern American era, you will pay $200,000 to $400,000 for the privilege of dying in a cardboard box. I mean, that is every time I think, man, that's fucking wild. I don't get too comfortable thinking that because I know something even worse is coming. And this is a longer also video that's related to housing and real estate, to understand just how fucked you really are, or you really can be if you're not paying attention, if you're not thinking correct. So this is a longer video, but it's this guy. I've shown this guy a couple times before, but this shows you what $1 million houses are made out of.
Just so you know, that means every time it has rained, water's been going right inside this home. No wonder why they want to take my license away. Now, I can't tell you who the builder is, but oof, this one's pretty rough. So all I'm going to say is, when is Trump or the DOGE going to finally get involved? Because I would rather pay twice as much for my eggs than to have my $1 million home fall apart. Speaking of falling apart, take a look at this. You think this is bad? Let me tell you the back of the home.
Oh no.
Yeah.
God, I knew it. And yeah.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna fix some holes in the wall.
I knew it too.
What's behind that?
it's paper.
Just a little.
You see all the stucco pulling up the home? Let's go take a look. Yeah, not supposed to do that. When he tells you it's 8 inches, But there's actually nothing there. It's so cold, that insulation shrinkage turned into nothing. So the top of the bottom of the truss is going to be around 3 inches. So if I can see the bottom of the trusses, you have about 3 inches of insulation. It's like this throughout this entire attic. No wonder why their electric bills were around $600 last summer. Builder said it was just typical settling. And what in the actual crap happened here? I did not do this. What the crap? This is supposed to go in a vent. The vent's not even there. This piece needs to extend up here, and then this goes on top of it. What the crap? This is the 1 year. It's supposed to look like that. Broken roof tile. And more broken roof tiles. And more broken roof tiles. That one's a little hard to see, but there's the crack that runs all the way down. And no, it's not just a small broken corner. It's broken all the way across. Just can't see it because of the tiles overlapping it. Once again, another reason why walking the roof is better than a drone. And yes, they're broken throughout the roof. Well, the latch is supposed to go in this groove right here, so good luck locking your windows. Oh, look, the welds are broken. And another one. And another. So I'm inspecting this home, but I saw that the neighbor's riser was broken. But my riser's fine. You're the neighbor that's probably saying, oh, my home's not that bad. No, your home is worse. You just think it's not as bad because you didn't get a proper inspection, or you just didn't get one at all. You can lead a horse to water, can't make him drink.
It's unbelievable to me that this is okay. This is your chance to do something about it. And so Taylor Morrison is asking that you control this kind of advertising, that you suspend his license.
So that's a guy, he's getting quite a bit of traction on social media because he just takes a camera and he shows you what these $1 million homes are really made out of. It's paper, chicken wire, and stucco. $1 million. That's $1 million plus interest, of course, over 15 or 30 years. So you're going to be paying $3 or $4 million for that. And you want to talk about America being cooked? This is what the people with $4 million can afford, right? And these are big fucking home builders, Stanley Martin, Toll Brothers, whatever, all these big shots. They design the thing and then they let these people go in and build a house made out of paper, chicken wire, stucco, and charge you a fucking $1 million, right? And of course, this, like I said, because this guy's getting traction, they want to yank his license. Nobody says like, holy fuck, we got a problem. And he says, this guy, again, being a normie, a naive normie, when is Trump and the DOJ going to get involved? Answer, never. When I drive into Dulles and I'm on the access road to the airport, I look at the corporate logos on the buildings all around me to the left and right. Stanley Martin Homes is up there. Toll Brothers Homes is up there. all of these companies that are doing this, that are selling you $1 million chicken coops, and not even really good chicken coops, because when I was a kid, chicken coops were made with at least made with plywood, but paper, chicken wire, and stucco homes for $1 million plus interest. They're in Washington D.C. They're down there in Northern Virginia. They aren't going to be. Their feet are not going to be held to the fire. And for naive, trusting people who are going to be legally obligated to pay for these fucking things, it's fucking insane. It's absolutely insane. But this is the world you live in. This is the world you live in, and it's not going to get better by anything they do. That's why when I say the things I say, that fixing the money fixes the world, that there's nothing else. You think, oh no, James, you're wrong because democracy is going down, fascism going up, Elon Musk is going to make Hitler robots, and they're gonna, what are they going to do? They're going to scare the Jews into dropping the keys to the money printer and running back to Tel Aviv. And me and all my friends, we're going to have the keys to the money printer, and we're going to fix all the problems. Yeah, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. All of the fucking all of the fucking human wreckage that these people fucking create, they only create because they print the money or they're close to the people who print the fucking money. And until you fix that, you can't do your gay fascism or fucking whatever dumb, stupid shit you imagine is gonna fucking happen, which mostly involves you and your friends getting the keys to the money printer. Because the future, I assure you, the future is going to be one where there is no longer a money printer. No one will work for, no one will go to work at a factory or provide services or goods or food or anything for a currency that someone else can just print. It's just not going to happen, right? And shit like this next video, when you realize the real fucking human cost, everybody you see in this video at one time was a sweet young kid. Everybody you see in this video at one time was a little baby taking his steps for the first time. And this is how they ended up. That's Kensington Avenue in Philadelphia, America's third largest city. I went there years ago. Somebody told me to go to this cheesesteak joint. There's a cheesesteak joint on Kensington Avenue called 1 Pound Cheesesteaks. Puerto Rican guy said, "Oh, you got to go there. You got to go there." So I happen to be down there, not doing what I do now, for some other reason, for taxi business. And so I found this place, and I go. There was a rainy Saturday or whatever. The Philadelphia mass transit, the overhead train is there, elevated train is there, and I remember looking at the neighborhood. I was like, "This fucking neighborhood looks like shit." Didn't quite look that, but it looked like that fucking zombie nightmare. But I was like, whatever. I go to this place. There's like a security window. You got to order the food from. I'm like, oh, this is fucked up. But whatever. I'm game. It's broad daylight, and so I order a sandwich, and I decided to like turn my back to the restaurant. And like I said, it's raining, and I'm kind of ducked under this little overhang, and some dude just comes out of from wherever, one of these junkies comes up, and he says, "Hey man, can you help me with $1?" I'm like, "No, I can't help you out." And the cold rainwater is dripping like right in the back of this guy's neck, and he's not even flinching. And I looked at that, I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "How does rainwater, like ice cold water, hit the back of your neck?" Of course, he doesn't have a fucking umbrella or proper clothes or anything like that. And man, you don't even flinch. You don't even move. You don't even try to get away from it. And that's the fucking power of those fucking chemicals. And everybody you see was once a little baby. Everybody you see there was excited for mommy and daddy to come home. Their first birthday party. And you don't see that when you look at these fucking zombies now, but that's what they were. And the fucking people who run this fucking country profited enormously from turning them into that, to turning American citizens into that. Little kids that were, listen, they made some bad choices, but did they deserve that? I don't think so. And how do you fix that? Well, I don't think those people can be saved. It's a bitter pill to swallow, but I don't think they can be saved. Maybe I'm wrong. I'd like to be wrong. But the people who fucking run shit Okay, if they're willing to do that to anybody, just fucking to extract resources. They don't care how you pay for the heroin. They don't care how you pay for the oxycondones or whatever the fuck, whatever the oxycontin, whatever the fuck it is, the fentanyl. They don't fucking care, right? They don't care what it does to you, as long as they extract the value out of you. That's all they fucking care about. And trust me, the people who are supposed to be protecting us know, but they're not. They're literally not allowed to do anything. I showed this guy before. This is the dude, this spook guy, CIA guy with the glasses, who's retired. I think it was a spook in the '90s, up or at least until the early part of the 2020s. And I guess he's, I don't know, he's trying to assuage his conscience. I don't know, but they know.
I went to Afghanistan to do a study on the heroin poppy crop, and I'll tell you, nobody liked it. Afghanistan used to be a net food exporter, and as soon as the U.S. takes over, they're producing 93% of the world's heroin. You know how that happened? I get to Bagram Air Base, and I said, I'm going to need a helicopter to Lashkar Gah. And they were like, oh, can't do it. Too dangerous. I was like, no, we're doing it. So we get down there. And it's a god-awful place. But man, I'm telling you, as far as your eye can see, all there is poppy. So I said, I want to talk to a poppy farmer. So we go out to the poppy fields. We see this guy cultivating his poppy. So I go up to him and I said, I got to ask you a question. Why don't you grow crops that have 2 growing seasons instead of poppy? He goes, the Americans told me in 2001, if I told them where the Arabs were, I could grow all the poppy I wanted. I go, what Americans told you could grow poppy? And my military handler's like, we gotta go. The bogey's in the area. We gotta go. Somebody had reached out to me and said, hey, we heard you're doing this study and you might want to come out here. So I get in my car, I drive out to Timbuktu, and there's this secret DEA facility out there. And they were like, you're in over your head. I said, how do you figure? They're like, there are very powerful forces that want that poppy to be cultivated.
So there's your local CIA guy thinking who the fuck he is, right? Like, oh, I'm fucking secret agent man, and I'm in Afghanistan. I'm gonna go solve this fucking problem. And they're like, hey, dummy, shut up. Go over there. Go kill some fucking goat herders in Waziristan and fucking forget this, because you are in over your fucking head, you know? And the realization that he needs to shut his fucking mouth, do whatever they tell him to do, and don't actually solve the problem. I guess it rankled. I guess it bothers him. Whatever shred of patriotism he still has, he decided, you know what, I'm going to talk about it. Obviously, he's talking about it after his pension is vested, because he doesn't want to get hurt. But you know, they know, and even the people in charge of trying to fix the problem, they know. But they're you know, on fucking orders of magnitude people more powerful than them, who want this shit to happen. And the reason why they want it to happen is because it makes money for them. Like the guy said, Afghanistan used to export food around that area into Pakistan, whatever, and now it just exports heroin. 93% of the world's heroin. And the Americans are the ones, I suspect that those Americans, I suspect a lot of them don't eat bacon and go to temple on Saturday, but that's my suspicion based on my historical knowledge. But yeah, they know. Listen, they all fucking know. They know, and you're not, if that guy can't fight them, you know what I mean? Then who are you to fight? You know what I mean? There's no direct fucking fighting these people. The only way to win is to create an economic system that will be robust enough and big enough to step into the fucking vacuum for when the fucking money printer finally fucking bleeds out. That's fucking coming. That's coming. You know why? Because the world is so fucking crazy. I got another video of a kid that an Instagram kid who used to have a gambling addiction, and this is watching this kid's videos, and I don't know why it popped up in my feed. I guess maybe because I look at Bitcoin stuff and they figure I'm a gambler. The sports bro guy I used to talk to, I realized is an actual gambler. But the 21st century, the 2020s is going to be fucking as insane fucking can get. And this minute 20-second video is just going to show you just how fucking lunatic the next 10, 15 years are going to be.
This cannot be legal. DraftKings and Delta are partnering to bring gambling to your flight. But it's not just sports betting and casino games. There's something else that you can gamble on. You can gamble on the flight itself. Yeah, that's right. They're going to be offering lines on things like flight duration. And while that might sound like an innocent or fun idea at first, it presents a massive problem. If you're on a flight that's supposed to be 2 hours long, Delta may now offer you a line to bet on over or under 120 minutes, which, again, might be okay for non-gambling addicts if Delta wasn't the one cashing the bet. That's right, they're partnering for DraftKings, but just for the platform, and Delta is effectively going to become the casino, or the house. So they have a direct incentive now to slow down flights if too many people are betting the under on flight duration. Maybe Delta pilots decide that it's time to take the scenic route. But the scariest bet of all that they're offering is whether or not the flight will land safely. The odds are going to be at crazy valuations like 100,000 to 1, but if the flight were to crash, who the hell's gonna be collecting the winnings anyway? Gambling has absolutely taken over society, and it's gotten to a ridiculous point now, in my opinion. What do you think? Let me know in the comments.
You will own nothing and you will be happy. One of the things I learned from that kid's account about degenerate gamblers that I didn't know, and it makes sense. Now that I think about it, because when I was in the taxi business years ago, all these guys were degenerate gamblers. They were insane. I used to work with a guy who grew up with Robert De Niro. He knew that Robert De Niro was with black chicks from fucking since whatever. Nikki A. I can't remember. Nikki Aiello? I can't remember what his name was. But when I started working at that particular cab company, I was told by a number of people, I said, listen, don't, like, they didn't know what I knew. I didn't know. I didn't understand. I don't understand the world of gambling other than in a vague sense from the outside. You know what I mean? I know you can bet on the number, what the numbers racket was. Like, there's no way. I don't think there's a way you grew up in New York City being anywhere near the street not knowing what the numbers racket was. But you could bet anything. You could bet basketball. You could bet anything. And but they told me, a couple of people pulled me aside and said, listen, if Nikki asks you to make a bet, don't ever make a bet for Nikki. Do not ever fucking bet for Nikki. And I'm like, okay. Now, I didn't bet for anybody, but Nikki was like he wasn't a main guy, but it's like an associate. He was, working with bookmakers, and he was such a degenerate gambler that he ruined his credit everywhere throughout the city. And if you were dumb enough to place a bet for him, you were going to be on the wrong side of a conversation with people you don't ever want to talk to. And but yeah, Nikki A was fucking crazy. This guy was a lunatic. But that gambling bro, that kid who used to have a gambling addiction, now he does an Instagram how to get over gambling addiction thing for younger people. Obviously, he's smarter than Nikki was. Although Nikki was like, let me tell you about Robert De Niro. He was always into black chicks. Like, the most beautiful white girl in the world walked past him, he wouldn't even look at her. He says, I remember from literally back in the day. Anyway, Nikki was a character. But the kid talking about gambling addiction, there's a thing among gambling addicts, and this is the you'll own nothing and be happy. There's a phenomenon where almost winning your bet is more pleasurable than winning the bet. Because if you win, then you have to do something. But to almost make it, and that's what he's talking about. Like, he's talking about in context of, will your plane land on time? Will you land successfully? Like, that's how crazy shit's going to be, right? And you're going to be betting against Delta, with Delta, on whether or not your plane, when your flight lands or doesn't land. Will grandma make it home for Christmas? Or will I make it to mom and dad's house for Thanksgiving? You know, like that level of degenerate lunacy and the dopamine rush that comes from what will happen between placing the bet and finding out the bet is just that's what drives the behavior, right? Because your brain rewires itself to only want the dopamine rush from gambling and not from anything else. So and almost winning is better than fucking winning. The kid goes into a thing explaining it, but I'm like, that's insane because I used to ask these guys, like, why don't you just take like $50 a week and put it in a shoebox, and then at the end of the year go, here's what I won. And the answer is because it's not about the money, it's about the dopamine rush. And the money is just your way to the tickets necessary to get on the ride on that dopamine fucking roller coaster. And they're doing that everywhere to everyone all at once in ways you cannot like I said, I keep thinking, oh shit, this is fucking insane. And then like the Delta Airlines partnering with a sports book to let you gamble on the flight you're about to take. That's fucking crazy. That is, like, I keep thinking this, it can't get, like, how much crazier can it get? And the answer is crazier, crazier. And you're just gonna have to ride with it. You're gonna have to roll with it. And that's gonna be harder than you think, because they are just gonna fucking endlessly, man, you will not get away from this. And if you're younger than me, and that's probably most of the audience is younger than me, or maybe not, I don't know how old my audience is. I don't get my Google Analytics anymore. But if you're younger than me, this is going to be everywhere. You go, oh, well, I'm not a sports bro guy, whatever. You ever play video games? Because video games are huge. And yeah, video games, they're doing this kind of thing also. Check this out.
GTA 6 isn't just a game, it's the future of virtual economies, and it could create the next wave of crypto millionaires. Here's how. Rockstar Games has spent over a decade and billions of dollars on GTA 6. Imagine they launch an NFT marketplace where you can buy, sell, and trade digital assets like rare cars, skins, or even houses. These NFTs could hold real-world value, just like CSGO skins that sell for millions. Now, picture owning virtual real estate in GTA 6. You could start a business, like a nightclub, shop, or even a digital fashion brand, and earn passive income in the game's tokenized economy. The more creative you get, the more wealth you can build. Everything from properties to businesses could be minted as NFTs, giving players the ability to trade and grow their assets with real-world value. These unique items would skyrocket in demand. And it's not just Rockstar. Did you know Sony recently bought a crypto exchange? Big players are betting on blockchain-powered economies, and GTA 6 could lead the charge with a tokenized marketplace and a native cryptocurrency. So, would you rather stay home building your empire in GTA than go to work? Comment GTA if you're ready to play video games and still make money.
Yeah, that's right. Listen, you can stay home, smoke legal marijuana, take some fucking mushrooms, play video games, and build your crypto empire. How seductive do you think that is to some kid flipping burgers? How seductive do you think that is to someone who doesn't see a future outside in their outside fucking world, right? How deeply is that going to hook into fucking people? That's what they're fucking offering you. You will own nothing. Digital NFTs in Grand Theft Auto, which is a video game, that's about street crime. But it's huge. It's a cultural phenomenon. So, and by the way, the owning a nightclub in GTA 6, the people who own it and sell it to you are going to be the ones who make the real world gains. You, of course, are going to get rug pulled. You know you're going to get fucking rug pulled. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to fucking happen. And if you don't see it, you're going to be dealing with people, your nieces, your nephews, your fucking younger brothers and sisters. The pull of this is going to just fucking completely destroy them. Holy crap. I am now looking at the comments. I snuck over to the comments at 55 minutes. Cucamonga, crazy. Is that Northwest Philly or Northeast Philly? I don't know the direction, but I know there's a Kensington exit off of 95 SEPTA. That is, that's for, what is it? Something like something Philadelphia Transit Authority. Yes, true. You are right. And AI always lost to group. Yes. Your job is, let's do a lot of research. Well, you have to research the right things and think the right way, rather than being brainwashed. Cucamonga, insane. House always wins, don't bet, right? All gamblers die broke. Cucamonga, how much is a taxi medallion these days? I don't know. It used to be in the 90s, it was over $1 million for a taxi medallion. And that doesn't mean you own the car. You just own like a rubberized fucking thing, like about maybe like size this page, that they would punch into the hood of a car. That was the medallion. And you could just, and there were auction houses. You could auction off the medallion. You could make about 500 a day just owning the medallion. You could sit home like GTA 6. You could sit home as a medallion owner and earn like $500 cash a day, because the taxi companies wanted the medallion as to be legal on the streets of Manhattan, and they would pay you, I don't know, they'd pay like $750 a day, and you get like 500. And there were multiple medallions. However, there were a medallion was considered property, and you could file lawsuits against the person who owned the medallion, depending on the behavior of the taxi driver, depending on whether or not the guy paid his taxes to the IRS. And there were what were called dirty medallions that you could buy. Like, so if the regular medallion was going for like $1 million, you could get a dirty medallion for $500,000 and just, auction it off and run it for like 3 or 4 years until the authorities caught up to you. And then you go, oh, I didn't know, I had no idea. But the price of a medallion dropped probably down to about maybe 300K. I don't know what it is these days, but it's not much. James, you're from Queens or Brooklyn? Brooklyn. I am from Brooklyn. I know you live on Staten Island now. No, I lived in Staten Island back in the days. Do you like doing these shows with basically no audience? Yes, I do, because screaming into the void is therapy for me. I'm kind of old. Yeah, you're not as old as me, I bet. Not a gambler. The thing is, you consider yourself morally superior to a gambler or this one or that one, but at the end of the day, human beings, the dopamine rush, that pleasure chemical, gets pumped into your system one way or another, right? And it is true that the older you get, the more you seek, the more pleasures you seek. You're less willing to endure unpleasantness, right? And whatever that means to you, depending on your circumstances. So, yeah, it's you have these big constructions of, I'm better than this person because I don't. I used to think, like, I used to lose money in the stock market in the 90s, thinking I was better than these fucking guys who betting a number, but I wasn't that much better. I was just gambling in a different form, to be honest. So it's hard. It's very hard. Listen, it's hard to look at yourself honestly and see what you're doing for what it is. That's really, really hard. Self-reflection is probably the toughest thing you'll ever do. And most people avoid it for that exact reason, because it's super tough and it doesn't give you any reward. When I tell you that human beings always choose the easiest choice, whatever that is, go along with the regime, like Kusalango in the chat, he says, hold my fiat tight. Well, hang on to it, as tight as you want. It isn't going to help. I remember, what this guy's name? There was a dude who's a redneck guy from Louisiana who could do math in his head. He was one of those do math in his head bros. Like, in the taxi business, at least not in the yellow cabs. I didn't do yellow cabs. I did for hire vehicles. or livery vehicles like Uber, but without the tech. They would have these little tickets like pick up, drop off, whatever in the fare, and there was like a wooden, a stepped wooden box. And for each driver, you would put this ticket, whichever job he completed, and at the end of the night, you would grab all the tickets, and you'd add them up, and that was your book, right? And you'd have to pay 50% to the company. So, and this guy, Mike, what the fuck was his name? I can't remember. He was like a skinny alcoholic dude. Like he didn't like food. He liked booze. Mike something or other. I can't remember what his name was. He was a redneck guy with a fucking Louisiana accent. And he could do math in his head. He could just look at the tickets and he could do the math in his head faster than the dispatcher could do it on the fucking adding machine. You know what I mean? And he was a degenerate gambler and a fucking drunk. And I don't know whatever happened to him, but the skill set you think makes you unique or whatever, or you're, oh, that's not me, and I'm going to win this game, or you're not going to win this fucking game, okay? And his opinions on certain things. One observation he made is that in terms of currency, physical currency like bills, somebody said, I can't remember who the fuck it was. There was so many conversations. They said, have you ever noticed that blacks always crunch up their money? You know, before they pay, they're gripping their money like crazy. This is back in the days of old cash transactions. And Mike was like, yeah, because they know they're never going to have it. They know they're going to lose it, and so they're trying to hang on to it as hard as they can. And I remember thinking, wow, like that's crazy. Like, where the fuck did you come up with that? But then I just started noticing that myself, that the bills would be crumbled more often when blacks paid you than when others paid, when whites or not, or Spanish. Like the blacks always they were like gripping the fucking money, death gripping the money, because it was everything to them, and they didn't have any power over it. So you want to hang on to your fiat, that's great, but it's going to become it's a worthless pile of paper, I assure you. James, 1 to 10, what grade would you give Trump at our first week? 10, absolutely fucking 10. Because it is Richard Spencer on steroids. Richard Spencer was a nobody. Elon Musk is the smartest man in the world. Third, second, first, richest. Which one is he? The richest man in the world. He's a genius. He's going to take us to Mars. He's going to make AI and robots. AI is going to fucking tell you how to fix the potholes. The robots are going to fix the potholes. You're going to do your laundry. You're going to make $1 million in fucking GTA 6 on fucking trading your virtual nightclub where virtual gangsters shoot each other and virtual hookers suck digital dick. Who the fuck? Come on. This is 2016 on fucking steroids. And I'm here for it because one, there's nowhere else to be, but two, I know what I need to do. I know I need to, for me, and this is for me, you do what you want to do, but I will do everything I can to turn as much of my energy and life into something that the Jews do not own and cannot control. That's that. Even though they think Larry Fink, I got this great video. I got a Larry Fink video. Larry Fink was at Davos where Trump was doing his Trumpy thing. He appeared there digitally or something like that. But Larry Fink, this is funny as fuck. Larry Fink, I'll show you the video and I'll tell you what I think about it afterwards. But there's in terms of dog whistle, right? Like the Hitler salute is a dog whistle. Hey, all you Nazis, it's safe to come out. Which there are no Nazis, but whatever. But the media's going to convince you there are. Larry Fink is dog whistling to his tribe in this clip.
As I became a student of crypto, it was very clear to me that crypto is a currency of fear. And that's okay.
To some extent.
Yeah, but that's okay because if you're frightened of your debasement of your currency or you're frightened of your economic or political stability of your country, you could have an internationally based instrument called Bitcoin that will overcome those local fears. And so I'm a big believer in the utilization of that as an instrument. And so if that becomes true and you see that it could be a proper hedge against maybe hope security or equities, the question is, could you see a 2 or 5% allocation? I was with a sovereign wealth fund during this week, and that was the conversation. Should we have a 2% allocation? Should we have a 5% allocation? If everybody adopted that conversation, it would be 500,000, 600,000, 700,000.
Okay, so there's, I think, talking about $700,000 Bitcoin, which we're crashing. I think we're currently crashing to about $100,000 right now. A miserable crash, 125% higher than we were last year. But if you have ears to hear it, what did you hear? Larry Fink said, Bitcoin is the currency of fear. Larry Fink is Jewish. Let me put up the proper. Let me put up the proper screen share. Let me put up the proper screen share here. If you've been kicked out of 109 countries and you understand that you need to keep a suitcase full of clothing and important documents by your door in case you need to run at any minute, Larry Fink is signaling to a very small, select group of people that Bitcoin is the currency you need, not diamonds, not coin clippings, right? Bitcoin is what you need. A little USB drive or some written address, you know what I mean? A USB drive or a cold storage device or something that you put in your suitcase and you grab as expulsion number 110 kicks off. So that's what Larry Fink basically saying to the tribe, Bitcoin was promised to you 3,000 years ago. 3,000 years ago in the Talmud, they promised you Bitcoin. That's really what he's saying. Bitcoin is the currency of fear. It's the currency of fear for people who have things to fear, right? For people like me, it's the currency of hope, right? It's the currency of hope, of future prosperity, of honest, worthwhile transactions. It's the currency of fear to people who are fearful of the actions they've taken and the consequences of them. And to me, it's the currency of hope and a promise of a much brighter future, right? A future where you don't get to profit off of addicting people to opioids, a future where human beings are not slaves to debt, right? A future where no one works for what another man can print with the fucking click of a fucking button.
We print it digitally, so.
Yeah, Jerome, we know you fucking printed digitally, Jerome. We fucking know, right? But it should be worked for. It should be something of value has to be exchanged for something of value. I know the people thinking, but real fascism hasn't been tried yet, James. Elon Musk, with the power of AI and robots and electric cars, is going to finally bring real fascism, not like the spaghetti slurper Mussolini or that pretender fucking Francisco Franco, Pinochet, that midget from fucking Chile. No. Real fascism is finally going to fucking arrive. Yeah, sure it is. It's not going to, listen to me, it's not going to fucking happen. I don't care what delusional bullshit you run through your brain to fucking make it to the day. I don't care, right? You want to pretend you're Caitlyn Jenner. You want to be like an Olympic athlete who becomes a woman, who gets silicone milkies installed in his chest to avoid a murder charge from a car accident. I don't fucking care. Right? Only your behavior matters. At the end of the day, only your behavior matters. I don't care what's in your fucking head, because I know enough about people to know that that's some frightening shit. And I don't want to be a part of it. But understand that any self-sabotage, any sabotage you do to yourself is done to yourself. I got a short video from, I can't remember the guy's name. I always think of him as Goldilocks, the CEO of Coinbase. Now, Coinbase, the largest crypto exchange on the planet Earth, by volume. This is the one that the Securities and Exchange Commission says they set the price of Bitcoin. They're the open and honest, transparent market, blah, 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 blah. This guy, I can't remember this guy's name, is Brian something. I don't know what his name is. He's bald. They call him Goldilocks. That's what the OG Bitcoiners call him. And I like the name. I like it a lot. Pardon me. Here is Goldilocks talking about the value of Bitcoin.
But I think it's clear at this point that, Bitcoin is a better form of money than gold. It is provably scarce, just like gold, but it's more portable and divisible. So you can actually use it. Has higher utility, I would say. And it was the best performing asset of the last 10 years. And so for store of value, I think it's going to be important for governments to hold this over time. It might start with being 1% of their reserves, but I think over time it'll come to be equal to or greater than gold reserves.
Okay, great. Well, let's go to the next question. Let's go to the lady over there.
So that's him. He's at Davos as well with Larry Fink. Larry Fink saying, listen, you need Bitcoin because if you get expulsed again, if you get expelled from the country, you need to be able to pick up, to have your wealth in a compact form, scoot over to Tel Aviv with. And Goldilocks is saying, listen, it may start out as it's a store of value like similar to gold, but better. And fun fact about Coinbase, the company, they were selling Bitcoin when Bitcoin was $5 a coin. Like I said, we're currently sitting at, I don't know what the fucking price is, 100K right now, 101K, 99, I don't know. Did we crash to 99,000? Coinbase and this joker was selling Bitcoin when it was $5 per Bitcoin. And the company, Coinbase, the company, holds 0 Bitcoins. They don't have any Bitcoins. MicroStrategy and all these other fucking companies, these fucking weirdo Japanese fucking scientific materials companies own more Bitcoin than the largest Bitcoin exchange on the face of the earth. No. And what this tells you is that, listen, the people who are doing great in the current system don't expect it to change. They don't want it to change. They don't give a shit. Like, everything's great. Stop bothering me with this. What percentage of Jews are listening to Larry Fink? Probably not that many. Probably not as many as you think. When you sit there and if you have a self-defeating mindset, and I suggest you do not have a self-defeating mindset. I suggest you have a mindset that is, I can take some of this from these people forever. Every amount of this thing that I can possess is and I can carry this with me to the grave. You can take your 12 or 24 word seed phrase to the fucking grave, and no one ever gets that Bitcoin. The understanding that the value you create in this world, the commercial value of your goods, your services, whatever that is, that you can take it and store it in a form that they cannot steal and they cannot inflate away, is such a fucking revolutionary idea that's impossible for your little Elon the Nazi brain to fucking understand. It is a way, 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 way bigger deal. It's like fire or the wheel. It really is. Like, well, the fire was a discovery. the wheel was an invention, but it's that fucking big. It's that big, and your brain is going to do the easy thing and instead hang on to a stack of pieces of paper that are green or whatever color the country you're in is a stack of promises written by central bankers that you can buy groceries, food, a cardboard house, or maybe a house made out of paper and chicken wire and cement for $1 million+. If you have enough of these stacks of paper, you can get one of those chicken coops, $1 million chicken coops, and yeah, you could live a happy life as long as you don't say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing. Trust Donald Trump and Elon Musk. By the way, you can't. Did I mention you can't spell Nazi without AI? And just go along to get along. And if you really want things to fucking change and be different, you have to do what doesn't feel good. When I smash up the buy button on fucking Bitcoin, it doesn't feel good. I've shown it a bunch of times over the years. It doesn't feel good. I to buy 500 or 1,500 or whatever amount of dollars it is, and then boop, the fucking price dumps. But I knew back then, and I know now that the price is going to go higher and higher and higher, higher and higher and higher. See that? Oh, that's clever. Forever, because they're going to debase the currency, because they, being the central bankers, are going to debase the currency. And this is fucking guaranteed. And I don't want to play the game no more. So I've benefited on a personal level. You will benefit on a personal level. Your family, everyone else will benefit if you see things the way they really are. And you do the thing that's not going to give you a dopamine rush right now. You're not going to feel really good about this. It's not a bet, right? It's a certainty that the money printer will go burr. It's a fucking certainty.
Your ATM is safe. Your banks are safe. There's enough cash in the financial system, and there is an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve. An infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve. An infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve.
That song is called Somebody to Love by BASS, Bastrology. Like something like astrology, but Bastrology, whatever. And that's a different meme using that song. It's obviously, what's his name? Kashkari, something or other. Kashkari is his last name. Guy from the Federal Reserve. Supposedly a Saudi Arabian, but I don't think he's really a Saudi. I suspect he's a tribe member. I suspect he is some type of converso. Okay. And if you think, James, you're obsessed with this shit, let me tell you, you grew up with this thing right in front of your face and you never noticed it. And I'm going to show you because, and if you're female in the audience, you're going to love this. It's going to break your mind, but everyone else is going to understand what this is. And you're not going to look at media and messaging ever quite the same way. 1 minute and 15 seconds to open your eyes.
The Wizard of Oz, a classic film which was based on a book which was based on political propaganda. I'm KP Burke, and history isn't boring. Your teacher was. In the late 1800s, a major issue in America was bimetallism, aka the argument between the gold standard versus free silver. The most famous champion of free silver was William Jennings Bryan, a guy who had run for president as many times as the Buffalo Bills have lost Super Bowls. Bryan came to fame in 1896 as a Democratic presidential nominee. He would run against William McKinley, who believed in the gold standard. But what does that have to do with The Wizard of Oz? Well, L. Frank Baum, the eventual author of The Wizard of Oz, campaigned for McKinley, leading some historians to believe that The Wizard of Oz is a political satire. Dorothy comes from Kansas. She's everything that is good and honest about America, but is lost thanks to a twister, which is a metaphor for the struggling economy. In the movie version, her slippers are red, but in the book they're made of silver, which is super important. She must follow the yellow brick road, aka the gold standard, to get to Emerald City, aka paper currency, where the power of Oz can get her back home. Oz, by the way, is spelled O-Z, which is the abbreviation for ounces, which is what we measure gold in. Yep. Along the way, she will meet a scarecrow, aka farmers, a tin woodsman, aka factory workers, and that cowardly lion, also known as William Jennings Bryan. Lions and tigers and politicians, oh my. For more weird history, check out American Loser Podcast.
That's probably a worthwhile podcast if you want to learn some interesting and weird stuff. But yeah, 100+ years on. I can't remember when Wizard of Oz came out. 1924, something like that. When was it? Yeah, the movie was about money. The whole thing was about fucking money, right? Cowardly Lion, William Jennings Bryan, right? Written strangely by a member of the tribe. Pretending that this does not, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Money touches everything in life and controls most things. And you can like it or not fucking like it. But sitting there like an insolent child imagining that strangers will do valuable things for you. They'll fill the potholes, clean your house, cook your food, do this, do that, produce the toys you want them to produce, whatever, medicines, etc., because you want them to, and you receive all of these benefits without giving something valuable in exchange is beyond fucking delusional, right? And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If that's your worldview, you don't belong. You really don't belong. Cuchalongo is like, well, why you keep doing a show? Nobody's paying attention. I don't give a fuck if people are paying attention or not paying attention. My role, the role I have assigned to myself in life, the purpose of my life, is to peacefully and legally destroy central bank, to build a foundation of a world where something of value is exchanged for something else of value, whatever that is. And that is a free and open exchange that people understand in advance. And that, I think, is a better world than the current world we live in. Okay. And the way I do it is, listen, I have to fucking live in this world where we're given less and less green pieces of paper. It's more digital credits in the Federal Reserve System. But still, we live in this US dollar system, and that's how we have to transact, right? But there is, at the moment, still a small amount, at least for me, that's left over after I do what I have to do. And I don't store the value of my labor, my driving the boxes up and down the East Coast, in a form that the people who hate me can steal from me, devalue my fucking labor, right? I just don't do it. That has become the purpose of my fucking life. It has worked out really well for me. I've talked about this non-fucking stop for 4 years, and you know what? Everything magically keeps going my way, not because I'm a genius, but because I pay attention to the right things and I make the right fucking choices. You could do the same, right? You could be a normie. You can go to Thanksgiving dinner. Listen, just start stacking Bitcoin. So look at the value of your trading government money for Bitcoin, right? It's $10, it's $100, it's $1,000, it's whatever. It's 10 hours of your labor. It's a week of your labor. It's a month, whatever. However you want to look at it, right? That's the measurement. It's a distinct and obviously measurable way to see what the effect of your choices are. And you don't have to tell anyone. You keep your mouth shut about it. You don't say, I have a tenth of a Bitcoin, a quarter of a Bitcoin. I have 10 Bitcoins. I have 1,000 Bitcoins. You don't ever say anything like that, right? You just know. And then you go to Thanksgiving or whatever, and your crazy aunt or uncle or your nephews or nieces or brothers or sisters, they go, Trump, Biden, blah, 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 blah. And you go, yeah, well, I hadn't thought about it. You know what? I don't care about this anymore. yeah, wow, I appreciate what you tell me. And you're being quietly, secretly subversive to the slavery matrix. No one ever has to fucking know. And it has benefited quite a number of us who understand that it's not the currency of fear, but it's the currency of freedom. That's what we understand that other people don't understand. It's a get rich quick scheme. They're betting on whether their flight's going to land or not land, or they're just sitting back going, "Oh, we don't have to do anything because Trump's going to fix it all." And then the other half of the country is like, "Oh my God, the Nazis are back in power. We have to fight them." And Waco 2.0 or fucking Charlottesville 3.0 is going to happen. And that's going to happen. There's nothing you can do about it. So don't worry, don't stress. Try to obviously plan for it so it doesn't affect you negatively. But take the value of your fucking life literally and save it from the fucking parasites. That's it. That's it. And that will be probably the most satisfying thing you could ever fucking do. Period. End of story. Jesus Christ, it's an hour and a half I've been doing this. This is the war. This is the battle. Choose wisely. Choose wisely, friends. By the way, I don't know why I thought that fucking where is it? Hold on. I had it in my brain. I'm probably wrong. Apparently I'm wrong. I had it in my head that I thought I fucking banished that Ukrainians and Mesopotamians guy. I thought I banished him like 8 weeks ago or 10 weeks ago or whatever. And I thought he came back, but I think maybe I just put him in a timeout because I kind of I blocked the user a couple of weeks ago and he hasn't come back since. So he may be lurking in the background, but he can't apparently show up in my chat unannounced and have a wrench. So that's good. All right. Last thing that we'll do. The competition is on, right? The competition between fiat currency and Bitcoin is on, but there's another competition going on. And I don't want to say nice things about China because China is not particularly a good place. They have all sorts of problems, but when you see the fucking scramble for high-speed computer chips and AI and all the rest, what you have to understand is that something has happened that has really worried the elites in the West, that and that means the Jews, that their position of dominance might not be as secure as they think. Listen.
There's a Cold War happening between the US and the Chinese, and it's happening through AI labs. DeepSeek just released their O1 competitor. It's called R1. If you're not familiar with DeepSeek, they're a Chinese AI lab. And by releasing R1, it's essentially a strategic move because it's an open source model that is cheaper, so it's at 1/10 of the cost of O1 from OpenAI. And on top of that, it's a strategic move that puts the Chinese in a position democratizing access to the best AI models. The reason why this is such a smart strategic move is because when you open source something, you're essentially allowing the market to catch up. It's raising the bar. AI landscape is becoming more of a political and national issue because who has access to the best sources of intelligence? This is an interesting power dynamic between these two countries and within these different companies. China effectively shows the US, we've caught up to your advancements. You need to show what you have to show why you're better. The moment you need to start worrying is when organizations stop releasing their models to the public. The reason why that's concerning is because it tells you what kind of innovations are not accessible to us. If you care about AI, I advise you to check out the DeepSeek website, the documentation on this newest model. You can look at the research paper and what it can do for you.
Okay, so this is, you can't spell Nazi without AI. China has spent apparently $5.5 million to create an AI which is as good or better than anything that America has produced. And I had a different video where somebody says, for years you've been hearing that AI is some super secret, there's a magical sauce they have that creates this wonderful thing. And it costs you $1 gazillion to use. But the Chinese, being denied access to the latest cutting edge chips, NVIDIA chips are not allowed to be exported to China, blah, 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 blah. China has caught up, their AI has caught up to Silicon Valley AI, and they're offering it at a tenth of the price. And what people are saying is that the rent seekers of the American the American tech bros are fucking shitting themselves because the Chinese AI is a tenth of the price and just as good. Is that really democratizing AI? Well, yeah, not really. But this is why Trump's emergency order to make the fucking nukes, to produce the power, to fucking unleash the chips, to fucking bring chip manufacture to the United States, because the chopstick jockeys have a tool now which could potentially unseat Western hegemony. Now, do I really think that's going to happen? I don't think so, but this is a new thing. So when you consider that AI, the first use of AI that's public, that everyone knows about is, what is it? It is, where is it? Let's go to my man Luigi. The first really public use of AI was United Healthcare denying medical care to people who had paid for medical care, right? They used the AI to deny you coverage. They took your money and then sucked the life out of you and let you die, right? And the flashy, noticeable effect of this was the Luigi Mangione situation. Whether or not you think he did it or he didn't do it, or it's patsy or whatever, AI was used to extract value from human beings and give them nothing in return, right? The ultimate in Judaism. But apparently, the boys in Beijing have a different idea. Not because they love you or they care about you or they think warm and fuzzy thoughts about democracy, but because they want to be a top dog. And they used a Chinese guerrilla warfare strategy. They used a minimalist strategy to attack American technological power from where, in a way that American technological power cannot counter. That is to say, in price, a lower price, a one-tenth the price, you get the same thing. So everyone shifts their attention away from ChatGPT and all the rest to the Chinese model. That's going to be super fucking interesting. I don't know how this plays out, but keep watching. I think AI is largely oversold. Like I said, it's not going to cook your food, clean your room, do your laundry, fix the potholes, clean toilets. It's not going to do any of that fucking shit. I was fucking, dude, I was out driving not that long ago. It was 28 degrees Fahrenheit at night, and I saw road crews fixing potholes. And I was like, how much fucking money would you have to pay me to be out in 28-degree weather at night, 28 degrees Fahrenheit at night, to fucking fill potholes? Like, those guys, you can't pay them enough. AI is not gonna solve that problem, right? You need things to go from here to there, food, electricity, whatever, and there has to be a structure, roads, fucking wires, whatever, to make that happen. And in America they say it's going to cost $87 gazillion, and the Chinese go, oh no, we can make it for 1/10 of that, and that's a super fucking interest. That's where the real war is. The war is an economic war, as always. Who creates the most value for the least effort? Interesting as fuck. Stay tuned, kids. Stay tuned, kids. Kuchalongo, what the fuck? I thought you left. Bro, I gotta run. Nice talking to you. I love you. Your strong opinions on life and Bitcoin. Yeah, it's not opinions. It is not opinions at all, sir. These are factual obligations, Kuchalongo. $45 minimum, $45 minimum for potholes, 45 an hour. At night on a fucking Saturday in 28 degrees, it's got to be more than that. It's got to be fucking more than that. I wouldn't do it if you put a gun to my fucking head, but whatever. This is the stuff I see. By the way, this is on Highway 95, the corridor of power between New York and DC. Kuchalongo, I came back. Yeah, well, it's obvious. You keep spamming the fucking chat. All right, an hour and a half. Listen, everybody's got to go to sleep. Is it past midnight? It's almost midnight. It's almost midnight, and then some of you will turn into a pumpkin and two mice or whatever. Eagle Pax Max, welcome to the show, sir. And everyone else, listen. Everyone else, the people who are currently here, you could smash the like button. You could do it. Nothing stopping you. Doesn't cost anything. A quick tap with the finger. There you go. You're sticking it to the man, as they say. But anyway, with that, we've done all the show that there is to do at this point. I've done everything, even including the Wizard of Oz shit. So to Eagle Pax Max and Kuchalongo, everyone else lurking in the background, and everyone going to come watch in the coming week. Thanks for stopping by, guys, and I will talk to you again next week.